Bree was a really close friend, and I cannot describe how meaningful her friendship was towards me.
She definitely had this spirit of, I want to explore, I want to experience. But I think that she had that sense of adventure that some kids have, but they won't let it out.
Just one that always had it together. One of those kids that really just makes everything more fun, brighter.
Brianna is very popular and very loved on this campus, and that was obvious during that week after her passing.
I don't think anybody would have thought that she was gonna pass away that night or anything bad. So we were at the game. Bree was just bouncing around the way she was, just like a little bubbly person. Bree would always be like, look it, we can have sober fun. We're not drinking or smoking or doing anything bad. And I was like, yeah. And so like we just like, we're getting to the car and someone was gonna lap in our back seat.
I saw that a couple of my friends didn't have rides because the car was packed down, and I offered them a ride.
Me and a couple other friends in the car, we all decided that we would like to race one of our friends.
One of my friends said we should race.
Well, run them, let's race, line them up. So Bree's like, you don't want to test my focus, like, you know, like my car may be small, but it mobs.
After the 3 honks, we took off racing at high speeds.
We're going really, really, really fast, and Cedric's even faster. So Cedric's already like far gone, like by the time the race is over. He's already at the stop sign, like probably waiting a good 5 seconds.
And as I came to an end, I stopped at the stop sign, and she never stopped, and then lost control and crashed into the pole.
And Bree pulls up. We're pulling up really fast. And she kind of brakes, like slows like on a roll, and we get to the stop sign and she looks at him like, up yours, and like steps on the gas and just floors it.
Nick Chapman, one of the passengers, did tell me that he told Brianna to slow down, but he didn't voice his opinion. He just said it softly. Somebody, Hannah or any of the other passengers, would have spoke up and just said, hey, you're scaring me. I think she would have slowed down, and she would have probably, it would have been a different outcome.
It felt like we spun, but I don't really know. It happened really fast, and we were going straight into the wall, and at that point I was like, okay, this is it. We're gonna hit a wall. We're going this fast. I was like, we're done.
I remember right when the car hit the pole that I didn't know if the car was on fire.
I just remember I looked at Bree, and I was rubbing her arm, and I told her, I was like, Bree, come on, talk to me. Come on, Bree, talk to me. And she wouldn't move, and everybody else was fine. Like, everybody was okay, and like I was like, okay, it has to be bad. Like, she's not moving, she's not talking. So I picked up her face, and she was just like bleeding, and it was like, okay, like what's going on? And I can't deal with blood, so I fainted.
I pulled up to the car and just sat there in shock.
One friend was right behind me, and then the other person in the other car, he came out and he tried to help everyone else out.
After I first saw it happen, I was just in shock. I started being a little bit shaky.
Daniel was running from Cedric's car, and he told Cedric, go get help.
After the crash, my friends in the car told me to leave.
When I arrived, there were two people trapped in a vehicle. The single vehicle was into a pole.
Bree's still not talking, and at that point, I freaked out. I started screaming from the top of my lungs, like, no, like, come on, Bree, like, talk to me.
Well, when I saw Brianna's condition that night, she had a pulse, she was breathing. She looked like she was unconscious, but her eyes were open. First thing I thought it was my kids.
As soon as I heard them saying that they were airlifting her, I started screaming, and I told them that, like, is she gonna be okay? Because I knew it was bad. Like, she's leaving in a helicopter to another hospital. Like, what's going on? As soon as they opened the doors, I heard my mom and my dad, and they were like, Hannah, are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine. Like, I couldn't really talk, and I just remember my mom had asked me, and she was like, is Bree okay? And at that moment, I was just like, no, like, she's not okay. Like, I just knew.
They were had passed too many passengers. They had speed was a factor. They were playing around, playing the music loud, having a good time, and they just lost control of the vehicle. They couldn't control it.
But I think all of us could have said like, hey, like turn the music down, like, hey, like let's go home, like no, like don't do that, like what if something happens? But still you think it's not gonna happen to you because everybody just thinks something like that would never happen to me. But things like that do happen.
It is difficult. I mean, because these are friends of my kids, and so you put yourself in that position with the parents. What are they going through? How do you explain to them that your daughter or your son is not coming home no more?
After I got home, I went up to my room and just lay there staring at the wall. And then the next morning I woke up, I went to my brother's room and told him about what happened. And then eventually we went and told my dad.
And the thing about it is that no parent would ever figure if something like that would happen to them, to their child.
My dad was just in shock because he wouldn't think I'd do something like that.
Upon my investigation, we determined there was a second car involved, and the driver had left the scene. We were able to determine who the driver was. We contacted the parents and informed them that we needed to talk to Cedric at the station.
It was hard to walk away and just go to a little room and talk about what happened. So I knew I had to face my consequences.
He told me everything that happened, and I could tell he wasn't lying. So I knew just by talking to him what a good kid he was. So it hurt me to arrest him.
I made a lot of good decisions in my life, but my one bad decision changed my whole life.
When talking to Brianna's mom, Isabel, when she found out that we made an arrest of another young boy, she didn't want to blame nobody. She wanted to, Brianna made a mistake. She was driving too fast, so she understood that, and she didn't want to put blame on anybody else. And she didn't want another young boy or another young life to be ruined because of some mistakes that they made.
I never thought that my junior year I'd have to be facing 2 felony charges of vehicle manslaughter and hit and run, and being arrested, having to go to court.
The conversation I had with her the week before, and she was telling me, she was like, I feel so happy right now. She was texting me, she's like, I feel so happy, like, despite all the turmoil and everything that goes on in our lives and everything, she's like, life is just so good, like, there's just so much to see, and it's so beautiful, and
it's so eerie, some of the things that she has said, that they retweet now, like, you know, hold the people you love the most. I have a picture of her on my desk, and you know, it's a nice reminder of the life that was in her. There was a lot of life in her.
Bree's death has affected everybody on our campus. Every single person.
How today was the day Bree was supposed to be graduating, but from our decisions we made, it wasn't possible. I feel that it was hard for her parents to walk across the stage, but I know that they're proud of what she did, academically wise, but our decisions are not proud of what we did.
But it absolutely could have been prevented, again, I think with more conversation and really more knowledge of the truth of what's out there and the impact that those accidents can have on your life.
I think that's the hardest part, is just to see like the way it affects everybody else.
And I just would want everybody to realize what a big impact it is when someone's life is taken, or if someone's hurt, it has a really big impact on not only their family, but the loved ones around them.
I think about it every day. Like, I could have made a better decision, and I never have to go through this.
You've got all the time in the world. Take your time. Focus on your driving, be responsible. Get to where you're going. That's the whole point, isn't it?
It's a split second. It really is. It's that split second, and how it devastates everything and just changes. And how young kids, young teenagers, we think that we're invincible, and we forget that how life is so fleeting.
We take for granted the fact that we are driving an automobile, which is 4,000 to 5,000 pounds, can be a lethal weapon. Driving a car is not a simple thing. It's a very serious thing. It can be, unfortunately, a very tragic thing if we're not responsible when we drive.
It still hurts, and it's not gonna go away. Like, it's really not. Like, it'll get easier and we'll like learn how to deal with it, but it's always gonna be there.